So Donald Trump, because of the position that he holds that I won't name, has access to White House lawyers. It just comes with the job. And those are the sort of people who are experienced with the particular sort of investigation that he now finds himself the target of. They understand how to counsel people to protect themselves, to prepare for congressional testimony, or speaking to someone like the special counsel, Bob Mueller. They know how to act in that situation. And so obviously Donald Trump has no interest in using them, and he's decided to use his goofball lawyer instead. So this is Mark Kasowitz. Now, the New York Times reported on Sunday of this week that Kasowitz has told White House personnel that they will not need to obtain legal representation of their own, and urged them not to speak to the media about the investigation into Trump and all of that related stuff. Now, when Comey was initially fired, let alone after his testimony, the dominant message that I heard from a lot of people was this is a time for people who work in the White House to get some sort of representation. That in the past, like when Bill Clinton was being investigated, that's what you do. And it seems odd that his personal lawyer would be telling them not to do that. That they should effectively clam up, don't talk to the media, but other than that, just sort of hang tight. That seems odd to me. That seems like a strategy designed not to protect them, but to potentially leave them out to be investigated or attacked, and then maybe to thereby protect Trump. I'm not sure.
Well, I think a lawyer who looks at Donald Trump sees that every case he may have is undone by his talking, either going on air, tweeting, writing in certain cases. I mean, I think that's part of it too. So I think a lot of that is why a personal lawyer would say that and advise that, to sort of try and, because Don McGahn is the White House counsel, and he's somebody who clearly doesn't think it's a bad idea to stop the tweeting, because he's been on the Trump campaign, he's been in the Trump White House, he's been doing this now for quite a while, and he's got his own beat in that White House. But this guy comes in and he just has a client, and the client isn't the White House, the client's the president or Trump, and so I think that that's why he is trying to curb this, but I don't think that it matters at this point, because it seems like so much has been said by this president that it's already dug in, which is why the damage is done, which is why you're not seeing very much.
I think they're worried about contradictory things being said. That's one of the things, as Michael says, when the president tweets and he tweets one thing, then he tweets a different thing. It happened on the Muslim ban, and it continues to get them into trouble, and it goes on down the line. It's not just limited to the president. So when White House staffers start speaking and then contradicting themselves and then can't get their story straight, all of that can have a legal effect. By the way, this lawyer is the guy who settled that Trump University case for $25 million, which we were talking about on Friday.
Yeah, maybe that was a good deal for Trump, I don't know. Yeah, and just to make clear that what you were saying, and a recent example of him shooting himself in the foot, Donald Trump, making it worse for himself by speaking in an attempt to defend himself. You have the tape situation that supposedly he has these recordings of James Comey, and he must have seen that as a good move to bring that up, but he's really put himself in a position where he's either gonna be hurt by it or he's gonna be hurt worse by it. If the tapes exist, my gut and everything I know about James Comey and Donald Trump tells me that they will back up James Comey's account of what was said. But we all know that it's unlikely that the tapes do exist. And if they don't exist, that's even worse for Donald Trump. Because if you're investigating obstruction of justice, how does it look if a president makes up recordings to try to get a potential witness in a court case to be quiet? I mean, that is intimidation beyond, I mean, it's fantastical at that point, and it's likely to be the case. Now, just two other quick points to give you an idea about Mark Kasowitz. It's an interesting game to play to try to find someone in the Trump administration that doesn't have some sort of weird connection to Russian oligarchs. We're still playing it because this is a case where we don't win. Kasowitz's other main clients include Sberbank, the largest state-owned bank in Russia, which was sanctioned by the Obama administration, and Oleg Deripaska, the Russian tycoon close to President Vladimir Putin, who has had business dealings with Paul Manafort. So that's who he's representing on the side. And by the way, to give you an idea about this guy, Mark Kasowitz, this is gonna be the most shallow critique of Kasowitz you're gonna hear today. But he's the guy that wrote this in response to Comey's testimony. It started, "I am Mark Kasowitz, President Trump's personal lawyer." He misspelled president in an official letter defending Donald Trump against James Comey's testimony. Shallow, I know.
But it sounds like he'll fit right in with the crew that's making decisions.
He will.
I know what you're thinking. Cenk, what do I get if I'm a Young Turks member? Well, I'm glad you asked. Not only do you get the whole 2-hour show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you get 6 podcasts on top. What are they? Join up, find out, they're amazing. You're gonna love these shows. TYTnetwork.com/join.